It is fair to say Galatasaray are a staple of European football. They have a die-hard, tight-knit group of fans who take the expression of 12th man to the next level. They have one of the most iconic, recognisable and stylish badges in the world, and their kits are a thing to admire. They always seem to have some legendary players with jaw-dropping talent in their team. Me personally, I remember watching some iconic players such as Wesley Sneijder, Radamel Falcao, Didier Drogba, and a young, hungry Arda Turan. Now, seeing their team and what the club as a whole has become is quite sad for me personally. The once legendary Selçuk İnan and Burak Yılmaz is now a past it Arda Turan and Mbaye Diagne. How did it get as bad as this? How did the 20-time Super League champions end up like this? And what can we and Galatasaray learn from this downfall? Well, if we rewind it a bit, just 3 years ago, you would have never believed a downfall such as this was looming. Yes, there were some hints and a few little teasers to what was to come, but they just won back-to-back Super League titles, and it seemed to be business as usual for the Turkish giants. However, those cracks seemed to get bigger and bigger, as in the next season, they had sold their best midfielder Fernando to Sevilla and sold 2 strikers, leaving them weak and a bit shallow in those positions. As a result of this, they dropped off massively and they slumped to a 6th finish in the 1920 season. Obviously COVID was a factor and the season had to be cut short early, but it's still no excuse, they should have been doing better. But the next season they seemed to bounce right back up. They had got a new goal threat, Henry Onyekuru, on loan from Monaco, who was a top scorer in the 2021 season, and they also got Gedson Fernandes on loan to fill the gap in midfield left the season before. As an impact of their shrewd transfer window, it led to a great season for the Istanbul outfit. They narrowly missed out on the Super League title by 1 measly goal difference. They finished on the same points. All of that, just 1 goal difference separated it. It was a truly heartbreaking season for them. In the next season, poor recruitment, such as the failure to replace Onyekuru, their top goal scorer as I mentioned, and Gedson Fernandes, and many other problems on and off the field, only set up legendary manager Fatih Terim up for failure. Over the 21-22 season, there were many poor results, but the one that tipped the fans over the edge was a defeat in the cup to Denizlispor, a team in the 2nd tier of Turkish football. At this moment in time, Galatasaray languished in 13th in the Super League table, only 6 points off the relegation zone. Fatih resigned, and they decided Dominic Turan, Pep Guardiola's assistant, was the man to pull them out of the depths. But this video wouldn't be here if it all went swimmingly after this, and they ended up in the same position as when Fatih Terim left, 13th. But now we've caught up on a little history lesson here. Let's really analyse what went wrong at Galatasaray. How did it get this bad? How could this club so rich in history end up in the bottom half of the Turkish league? Well, as the saying goes, it all starts from the top. Their attack is aging, and I mean aging. Their attack in the 21-22 season was Bafétim Bigomi, who is 37 now, Ryan Babel, who is 35, and Sofiane Feghouli. Remember that West Ham flop? Yeah, him. Who is 32 now. Not only are they all halfway to 70, some even further than that, they were also severely overpaid for their age. But this is no new problem at Galatasaray, as they've always had spending issues. Just a year before this season, they had to let go of Radamel Falcao, a legendary and clinical and all-round amazing player, due to them not being able to pay his €5 million a year salary. But again, it goes back further than even this. Despite winning the 2000 UEFA Cup final, the equivalent to the Europa League, against Arsenal with legendary players such as Hadji, Mario Jardel, they were found 4 years later to be in €150 million of debt. And that was 20 years ago, that kind of money. I don't even know what that would equate to now, but it's a lot of money. But after this debacle, there were better times for the fans, and they got to experience the legendary midfielder Wesley Sneijder. What a player. They got to see him ball out for them in their midfield, and they were consistently competing in the Champions League, and even occasionally get into the knockout rounds. However, the optimism was smacked out of the fans like Chris Rock's smile at the Oscars, and hard times would come soon after with more heavy spending, overstaffing, and poor club presidents. By 2017, they were slapped with a €164 million loss on the balance sheet, and as a result of broken FFP rules, they were banned from UEFA competitions for a year. They were also forced to sell legendary Turkish striker Burak Yilmaz due to a poor domestic season. Rivals Fenerbahce and Besiktas are also currently heavily in debt and failing to perform on the pitch. I mean, look at the last season. None of the big three in Turkey finished in the top 5, and that is just, it's disgusting. It's disgusting because I love Turkish football, I love the passion and all of that, and I feel for those fans, trust me. It's estimated those 3 clubs alone are in a combined €1.5 billion of debt, and that's just those 3 clubs. Turkish football as a whole is feeling the effects of their poor performances on and off the field by the big 3 in Turkey. You yourself are probably wondering, why haven't these clubs gone under yet? They're in such big debts, they're making poor decisions on and off the field. Why are they still afloat? Well, the quick and short answer for you is politics. Multiple political parties in Turkey see these clubs as political bargaining tools, and in recent years 2 laws have been passed to help restructure the 3 clubs' debt. One of the new laws passed most recently has vowed to build better youth systems in Turkey and hold presidents accountable for their actions and prohibit overspending their financial limit in the future. This leads us to the current day, and as I mentioned earlier, everyone can learn from these mistakes, most importantly Galatasaray. But history has repeated itself again and again, and Galatasaray had their first one in 2004. Last season, avoiding relegation was a big starting block to their rebuild, and God only knows what relegation would have meant for this legendary club. They look to be heading in the right direction as of now. They've hired a new club president, they've hired a new manager, and brought in some decent players for below average fees. Lucas Torreira for €6 million is great business. Sergio Oliveira for €3.5 million is an unbelievable. And Dries Mertens, the legendary Napoli man, for free is a cherry on top. And that's only 3 players of the 9 quality players they've signed this summer. And to be honest, it has been a really good summer for them. They've not overspent. They brought in great players. They replaced, their attack problem, their defence problem, their midfield problem, the whole pitch problem, apart from the legendary Muslera, of course, but he's had injury problems recently. I really think now it is a time for Turkish football and the clubs inside of it as a whole to change their reputation as a retirement home for old players without ambition. They can make the Super League an entertaining, passionate, competitive and sustainable league, because at the end of the day, it's the fans who suffer from poor decisions from the club, not the owners, politicians and presidents. I really hope for a better future for Turkish football. It would really break my heart to see Turkish football drop down more than it already has. It's now 20th in leagues in Europe, and that is poor. Thanks for 100 subs, guys. That is crazy. Subscribe here and watch these 2 videos. Thank you for watching. Good night.